What's going on, YouTube? Thank you guys for joining me again for another technical analysis video. Today I just want to go ahead and recap real quick how you can play breakouts and retest, and some of the pros and the cons of the breakout and retest method. So let's go ahead and just dive in really quick. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I'm just going to go ahead and go through a few of these tickers really quick, just kind of show you what the breakout and retest looks like. So for those of you that are new to technical analysis, I hope that with this video you guys are able to, walk away with something. For those of you that kind of know how this method works, I hope that you guys can also learn, something from it as well. But anyways, let's go ahead and let's get this started. So let's just go through a few of these tickers really quick. Let's do plug. Plug looks pretty cool. I like plug. So now this breakout and retest level will work across the board on different time frames. Depending the time frame that you're using, obviously that's going to determine how fast or how quickly these retests will happen. Okay. The other thing also to keep in mind is that a breakout and retest may not always occur at the exact same spot. Okay, so let me show you guys this really quick, and then we can kind of go into some live examples. So we have stock going up, coming down, going back up, coming down, and then you finally get that breakout of retest, and then it continues up, right? And so then you have this. Let's make it so you guys can see. Right, so you have the breakout level right here, and then you have a retest. Okay, now it's going to be the same exact thing for the opposite direction. So this is obviously bullish. If you guys were looking at something, something like this, comes down, comes back up, breaks down, retest, continues downtrend, right? Oops. Okay, so same thing here. Obviously you have your resistance levels, and then you have your support levels. Sorry for the bad drawings, but pretty much this is the concept of it. So you wait for the breakout again, pushes up, comes down to retest that breakout level, pushes up. Okay. On the opposite direction, you get the break to the downside, the retest of that breakout, and then pushes down. Also, this just really quick, this also becomes, so this is obviously your resistance, right here. You have resistance, support. Once it breaks through and it retests, that support or that resistance level becomes now support. On the bottom, when it breaks to the downside, support becomes resistance, right? And then continues its downtrend. So this is kind of what you're looking at for a breakout and retest. Now, sometimes the breakouts and retests may not happen right on point where it broke out. Sometimes you'll kind of get something like this. Sometimes it'll be a small retest and then it'll continue. Other times you might not even get a full-on retest, right? The stock will just continue in that direction. So just really quick, the benefit of taking the breakout is that you get in early before everybody else does, right? So right here, let's say the stock broke at 25.80, pushed up, came down to retest at 26.23. Right, if you're waiting for the retest, I mean, obviously you're a little bit late, but you have confirmation now, right, that the trend is going to continue. So that's kind of like the pro about it, is obviously you have that confirmation. The con or the downside to this is that you're obviously a little late. Okay. Now, also the downside to going in early is that obviously you can get like a fake out. So a fake out would look something like this. Right? And then it just comes back into the pattern, right? So right? So this is a possibility, right? So if you're taking the breakout, this is the downside to going in early, right? Is that it goes up, but immediately it fails to hold that support level or that retest, and it just comes back in. So now you're kind of trapped, right? Unless you know, your risk management, but that's a whole nother video. So yeah, so that's the downside to taking the breakout and not waiting for some sort of retest, is that, you know, you can get caught in the middle, versus here you're waiting for a retest, a close above support, or also this could also be considered the first higher low, in this case the first lower high, or lower low, sorry, lower high up here. And so by getting those confirmations, you're obviously, you know, confirming that the trend or the structure is now on a downtrend, right? Bearish and bullish. So remember this right here. Let's put this right here. So this is obviously bullish. And what's going on? Sorry about that, guys. What happened here? Where did our examples go? Okay. Yeah, so you have bullish breakout, and then you have right here, you have a bearish breakout, and then this right here is considered a false breakout. Now the false breakouts obviously will happen to the upside, and then they can also happen to the downside, right? So you can get this, and then it just goes back into pattern, right? So let me go ahead and go into some live examples real quick, so you guys can see how this works out. Okay, so we can go ahead and let's take a look at some of these examples. Now, right here, we obviously have a high, right? This is our most recent high. So if we take a look at this really quick right here, right, we can clearly see that we get a break to the upside. We broke previous high, so that's the breakout. And now we have 1, 2 retests that are happening right now, right? 1, 2. Now, the best way when you guys are looking for these breakouts and retests is that you can always go down to the smaller time frames, and you guys can do sniper entries here, right? So you guys, obviously, when you're playing that, you can either take the entry right here right away. Let me get this right here. So you guys can obviously get in early at the breakout, but remember, getting the breakout early just means that you're in before everybody else. It doesn't mean that because it broke out, it's going to continue up, right? In this case, yes. Obviously, you guys can see it did a double touched it right here, right? Pushed to the upside from this breakout. So yeah, you guys could have definitely played, you know, this from roughly about 2681 up to 2901 by getting in. But if you wanted to wait for confirmation, then obviously you have the opportunity to wait for these two, right? So you also had the 2 other entries to go in on this position. For everybody that got in on here, all it means is you have an opportunity to just load the boat a little bit more, right? So if you're playing shares or options, this is where you could have added some more to your position, right? The minute it broke, obviously, this previous high, then, you know, that just kind of, that's break of structure. That's another video. But again, breakout and retest pushes to the upside, right? Okay. Now, remember, again, depending on which time frame you're on, obviously that's going to determine, you know, how well the play is going to go. Another breakout and retest right here. So these breakouts and retests happen pretty often across the board, right? So you have a high. Now on here, you might not be able to tell because we're on the 15-minute, But if we go on down to the 5 minute, at this exact same level, you can see where the breakout happened. So let's mark that really quick. Breakout, right? We got a breakout here. And then it was followed immediately by a retest right on this candle, right? So it broke to the upside, retested, pushed up, and you also got one entry here and another one right here. Okay. Now, again, remember how I told you guys the retests sometimes don't always happen right up to that point. In this case, this is a good example right here. Pushed up, came down, stayed above this breakout zone, continued up. So here, if you were trying to scalp or day trade, we are in the 5 minutes, so this could have been a good opportunity for you to go in really quick. And then you also got another opportunity right here to load a few more positions. Yeah, so you had another opportunity to load up some more into your position right here, whether it was shares or contracts, and then obviously you got this push to the upside. But again, breakout, retest, which in this case also was in form of almost technically like a triple bottom because of this retest right here. So it was 1, 2, 3, push to the upside, right? So let's take a look at a few other ones really quick here. Okay, so let's go back to this bigger time frame. Let's go ahead and let's look at where else we can see some more breakouts. Yeah, so obviously, yeah, see you guys can tell where all these breakouts are, right? So the breakout, there's another one right here. We have a push to the upside, broke the high. Same thing here. You guys can't really tell by looking at on the bigger time frame. So if you want to go ahead and get a sniper entry, meaning you just want to take a look at the smaller time frames. In this case, look at this. This is a good example here. So we can clearly see again, we got our breakout right here, right? Pushed up. So this could have already been, remember the pros of getting in is you get in before everybody else. Okay, so that's the pros about it. The downside to going in on the retest is, again, look, if you waited for the retest here, obviously, you kind of got stopped out here a little bit, or you got scared and you closed your position. But one thing quickly here to keep in mind with these retests is obviously it failed to break this previous low, so that was still an opportunity to hold on to your position. But yeah, breakout, you could have added to your position here, broke, but because it held still above this previous low, you could have still added a little bit more to your position. Broke out, so here's a good example again. We get the breakout, right, followed by a retest. Breakout, retest, push to the upside, right? So again, this is the smaller time frame, 5 minutes, so this does move a little bit quicker. So again, depending on the time frame, that's how fast you're going to hold on to your position. In this case, 5 minutes, then you're going to be in and out fairly quickly, right? But this position right here gave you quite a few breakouts. So again, you get another breakout right here with this big green candle, so that lets me know there's a lot of volume coming in. And check this out, followed by a retest, push up, another retest, just didn't come down all the way down, and then just continued up. So you could have gone in here at 35.76, added a few more to your position at 35.85, and cashed out either here or once this wick kind of started pushing up at 37.26. So again, quick breakouts and retests, fairly simple there. Let's look at some to the downside. It's pretty much going to be the same thing. It's just down testing to the downside. So let's take a look right here at Snap again. So with Snap, you find the low, which is this wick right here. That's your most recent low. You draw a line. Cool. So obviously we have clearly right here, we see a nice big red candle pushing to the downside. So that lets me know, hey, there's a lot of sellers here, and at this range for snap. And as you guys can tell, we've pushed to the downside, went up, and as you can tell, this retest did not come all the way up here where we previously broke to the downside, right? But it was a retest nonetheless. Again, on the 65-minute, which is the bigger time frame, can't see it. You can always go down to the 15-minute to kind of find your sniper entries. So again, look at this. We got a break to the downside, right? So this is your chance to either get in right away once it broke the previous low. You can get in, right? So you're ahead of the game before everybody else. When it retests and comes up, right, it's failing to go above this previous high, so that lets you know, hey, we're still technically on a downtrend, right? We haven't broke that, so we're still good. This, once it flushed down, then you can obviously, you know, add more to your position here, or you can go ahead and start a brand new position, whatever you want to do. But you break out, push, retest, fails the retest, and then flushes down, right? Now this is just a quick breakdown of this breakout and retest, or breakdown and retest method. And there's a little bit more that goes to it, but this is kind of like the basic concept of it. Let's go ahead and let's find another one. Let's do Uber. Uber's another good one here. Now, all of these breakouts and retest method, they do require some sort of patience to be able to obviously tell, right? So right here, let's take another one on Uber. So we got a low, right? Our low was January 10th at 6:30 in the morning, right when market opened. Broke on January 18th. So right from the 10th to the 18th, you're just being patient right here at this point. You waited 8 days to get some sort of break, to get some sort of retest of this level, right? Finally broke. So broke to the downside at $40.06 or $40.18, broke to the downside, pushed up, try to retest this area, right? So again, break to the downside, retest didn't even have enough strength to push all the way up to retest, and then it just continued its downtrend, right? Again, this is the 65-minute. We can work our way down to the 5 or 15, and then you can look for that sniper entry, right? So very simple. So here, broke to the downside, right? Flush, flush, flush. Came down, retested, and at this point, I mean, like I said, there's more that goes to it, but the basic concept of it is just the breakouts and retests, right? You want to wait. So if you didn't want to get in on here, you could have gone in right here, right? The only downside is, again, your breakout breakdown entry was at $40.18. The retest happened at about $39.63. So it's a little bit, you know, lower than here. So you've missed out on some profits, but, you know, nonetheless, now you have confirmation that it's going to the downside. Couple of things, obviously, you can look, you can kind of combine with this is obviously you can start mapping out really quick, just, you know, where your most recent lows are. Right, so we have a low there, we have a low there, we have another low, we have a most recent high, we have a high right there. And if you didn't want to get in on here because you're like, well, how do I know it's going to continue down? Well, that's fine. Then just wait for one more lower high to be created and then get in on that, right? Because now you can clearly see here, stock is definitely trending down, right? Or once you get that second, you know, because technically this is the second lower high, because that's 1, 2, right? 1, 2. This is your third one. Push to the downside, right? So this is what you're looking for. You're looking for other confirmations, right, of, you know, where you can get in. The other thing too is obviously you wait for market structure, so you get another low followed by that, and then you can get in once this low breaks to the downside, right? So there we go. So see, Kim breaks, tries to retest, break, retest, and then finally pushes down, which then at this point, this is what you're looking at. You're looking at a double top, right? So that gives you even more confirmation. But yeah, so that's it for this video, guys. Just wanted to kind of recap this break out and retest, or breakdown and retest method. Go ahead and try it out. Map it on a couple of your favorite stocks. Look at what they're doing on the bigger time frame, where the highs are, where the lows are, and then just kind of get an idea of how those breakouts are happening. And yeah, so hopefully you guys learned something from this. Comment down below. Let me know what other strategies or methods or anything else that you guys want me to go over, and I'll do my best to make those videos for you guys. All right, later, guys.